from the station working for you. This is WRTV News at 6, streaming now.
Small businesses are looking for ways to stay open, especially with even more Hoosiers turning to online shopping to stay safe during the pandemic. Thanks for joining us for WRTV News here at 6 o'clock. I'm Nicole Griffin. Tonight, as the holiday shopping season continues, some local communities are making innovative changes. The town of Zionsville is uniting all vendors by creating an online marketplace. It's a model local leaders believe other cities could use as well to help local business owners. The marketplace allows customers to search all local shops for what they are looking for, making it easy and convenient to shop local.
We've seen all types of businesses adjust and adapt, whether they're retail, whether they're service-based, whether they are a restaurant. You know, people are doing what's needed in order to keep their businesses going. And this year, we are trying to do as a chamber what's necessary to support those businesses' needs to make sure that they are around after this is all over. And because almost 70% of every dollar that comes into a small business stays local, that means that every dollar that we put back into the local economy or we keep here, rather than having it go to a different corporation outside of our area, means that we are supporting our local economy.
Coming up tonight at 11 o'clock, we talk with the website creator about his company's role in delivering contactless shopping, which appears to be popping up more often as businesses are left with no choice but to adapt to the times. The month of December is normally a busy month for restaurants with holiday parties and office catering, but tonight the Indiana Restaurant and Lodging Association says since the start of November, sales and foot traffic are down at restaurants, and it's only getting worse. That is why the association is launching a new campaign called Dine Safe December. It's a reminder of everything restaurants are doing as they are committed to the Hoosier hospitality promise. That includes spacing out tables 6 feet, employees wearing masks, and passing a health check prior to each shift. It also includes providing hand sanitizer at entrances and implementing sanitization practices for common areas using CDC recommendations. The president and CEO of the association recognizes pizza places and drive-thrus have done well through the pandemic, but neighborhood restaurants are struggling.
Your traditional sit-down, family dining, independent restaurant is being absolutely obliterated. In the month of September, we released the first 6 months, kind of looking forward into the next 6 months. 41% of Indiana's restaurants tonight expect to make the next 6 months. On Monday, we'll release new data. It's not getting any better. So restaurant closures are only increasing, and they're not temporary, they're permanent. But those restaurant closures aren't really about the individual owner. It's about the 100 people, 50 people that may have worked at that restaurant.
At visitindiana.com/promise right now, you can find all of the businesses committed to the Hoosier Hospitality Promise. The association's new campaign hopes to encourage people to find ways to support local restaurants by allowing them to do the holiday cooking this month. Let's take a look now at the very latest numbers showing how the coronavirus is impacting Indiana. The State Department of Health reports 6,678 new coronavirus cases. 34 more Hoosiers have died with COVID-19, bringing the total number of deaths to 5,944. Since March, more than 381,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. More than 4.5 million tests have been administered in Indiana. At least 280,000 Americans have died from COVID-19, according to Johns Hopkins University. Cities and states across the U.S. are now reimposing restrictions to help curb the spread as many hospitals reach capacity. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
Tonight, more than 80% of the most populous state in the U.S. will be under strict new orders to stay home. California hitting its highest single-day total of COVID-19 cases today, topping 30,000. 9 months into the pandemic, health experts warn things will get even worse.
But the reality is December and January and February are going to be rough times.
Restrictions covering much of Southern California, San Joaquin Valley, and the Bay Area as officials desperately try to stop the spread. Business owners in Los Angeles speaking out against the new orders, which reduced retail capacity, shut down salons and dining.
I'm losing everything. Everything I own is being taken away from me.
In New York, the Staten Island bar owner arrested for opening illegally opened right back up again Friday to a packed and unmasked crowd. This as the U.S. hits another record high. More than 100,000 Americans now hospitalized, according to the COVID tracking project. Roughly 2,000 people lost each day.
I put an ungodly amount of people in body bags that I wasn't prepared to do.
But there is hope on the horizon. The first vaccine from Pfizer could be granted emergency use authorization soon after Thursday's FDA hearing, and states are getting ready to distribute it.
I believe we could see FDA authorization within days.
Hard-hit El Paso, Texas has already received several thousand doses, but the head of Operation Warp Speed telling CNN today that vaccines won't be widely distributed for months.
We have a vaccine. There is light at the end of the tunnel, but we will not all have the vaccine in our arms before May or June, so we need to be very cautious and vigilant.
Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Rena, thank you. Now to your forecast tonight. Meteorologist Kyle Mounts joins me now. And Kyle, today is just a great day to kind of relax, watch some football, stay inside. Pretty cloudy and cool outside today.
Yeah, hang out indoors. We've been locked into the cloud cover, and that kept our temperatures only in the 30s, only made it to 34 in Indianapolis for the high. Right now sitting at 32, same for you in Bloomington, while it's 35 degrees in the Shelbyville area. A little bit of a breeze out there does bring us a wind chill. Many locations it feels like the mid-20s tonight, feels like 24 in downtown. Here's a look at the satellite and radar. You can see all that cloud cover, and as we go through tonight, maybe a flurry here or there. That's really about all we'll see out of those clouds, and the clouds holding our temperatures steady in the lower 30s through 10 o'clock. Coming up, though, we'll talk about a warm-up for the week ahead.
All right, Kyle, thank you. If you're doing holiday mailing, the Postal Service now has Sunday hours at select branches. It started today and will continue on the 13th and 20th of this month. About 24 post offices will be open in central Indiana, including 6 in Indianapolis, Castleton, Eagle Creek, Nora, Park Fletcher, Speedway, and Southport. For a complete list and a look at the hours, just look for this story at WRTV.com. As the pandemic continues, nearly every industry is having to come up with innovative ways to reach their customers. The Indianapolis Art Center is taking its annual winter art sale online. I talked with the Art Center's president, who says this year has been especially difficult after events like the Broad Ripple Art Fair were canceled. Many artists travel to fairs like the one in Broad Ripple to make a living for the entire year. And he says the online winter art sale gives artists access to a market they otherwise would not have access to right now. Typically, it's a shoulder-to-shoulder event that features faculty members selling their own work, but this year they made a change. Leaders believe this could be a lifesaver for local artists.
But also to open it up, to take the rising tide concept and open the winter art sale up to all the regional artists who have been locked down and probably been very prolific in their creation of their work and haven't had an outlet to sell it. And they could all use some money right now. The artists can make their own storefront and they can market their own storefront and they can, run it like a business. And the market was not built just for the winter sale. It's going to be here going forward.
The winter art sale is open now at artcentermarket.com. It will close this Thursday, December 10th at 6 p.m. It features more than 90 artists from central Indiana with more than 700 pieces of art for purchase, including paintings and jewelry. President Trump's main cheerleader just might be sidelined for the near future. Coming up, new developments regarding Rudy Giuliani. In a game full of big plays, it came down to a big mistake that led to the Colts coming away with the win. We'll show you how it all worked up to that surprising finish when the News at 6 continues. President Trump says his personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, has tested positive for the coronavirus. The former New York mayor is 76 years old, and the CDC says that puts him at a higher risk for complications from COVID-19. Giuliani has been working on the Trump campaign's unsuccessful attempts to overturn election results in court. Tomorrow, we pause to remember the 2,403 U.S. military members and civilians who were killed when the Japanese attacked Hawaii's Pearl Harbor in 1941. The chaotic and tragic event marked the beginning of U.S. involvement in World War II. WRTV's Mark Mullen sat down with a veteran from Indianapolis who remembers his role in helping to end the war.
When Robert Pedigo first got a taste of being in the military, he was just a teenager.
I was the youngest one on my bomber crew.
Now he's 97 and the only living survivor among his other Air Force brethren.
It was a gigantic accomplishment, gigantic sacrifices, but we succeeded. You know, well, we had no choice. You know, it was do or die.
Pedigo, an Air Force bombardier, remembers the day when Allied forces finally defeated Germany in what is known as D-Day. In fact, the day before, Pedigo's squad commander, Jimmy Stewart, yes, the one of Hollywood fame, gave Pedigo and other airmen a pep talk before lights out.
The afternoon before D-Day, Jimmy called us a squadron at a time, 4 squadrons. He called us a squadron at a time out into the middle of a wheat field, away from all buildings, to brief us about the next morning. And even then, he didn't say what it was, but we'd been anticipating, and we surmised what it was, and we were right. And I can pretty much remember his words. He was very brief. And he said, fellas, we got a big mission in the morning. To get to bed early, so to be nobody coming going on a red alert. The base was locked down, nobody coming or going. So we'll be getting up early, so get your rest.
Morning came early at 2:30 a.m. the next day, D-Day. And Pedigo was one of the first up in the air, part of an air assault over Germany.
It was my easiest mission, but we lost 12,000 men that day on the beaches. And had it not been for all the bombing we did, we had Germany bombs of the smithereens of the ground before the invasion, so actually D-Day was ready for a mop-up.
The U.S. had resisted entering the war, but after the devastation and loss of American lives at Pearl Harbor, the U.S. involvement was inevitable. Pedigo, a treasure himself with spoken word history, wants generations now and in the future to never forget the lives lost and those who gave up so much to end a war.
Well, how great the sacrifices were to stop it, end it, win it. The 8th Air Force I was in had the highest percentage of losses of any military unit in World War II. It was like flying into hell.
Mark Mullins, WRTV.
Mark, thank you. And Pedigo tells us he did survive 30 air battles over Germany. He is 97 years old now, but the Indianapolis native finally received his diploma from Arsenal Tech High School at the age of 93. And Kyle, we thank him for his service and all the veterans tonight.
Yes, we do. And we want to talk about these temperatures that today were held down by the cloud cover out there. Only 33 in Indianapolis, 35 for you in the Muncie area today, and 37 degrees in Bloomington. So those clouds certainly holding back numbers a little bit. And as we look out there right now, we find temperatures right around 30 to 32 degrees in many spots. A little warmer in Connorsville at 36. Same for you in Bedford, while it's a 30-degree temperature in Crawfordsville. Tonight, with those clouds in place, maybe a flurry here or there. That should be about it, with a temperature that will fall back to 26 degrees. So the blanket of cloud cover will kind of hold those temperatures from really tanking overnight. And you look up here across the UP of Michigan into northern portions of Wisconsin. Again, you don't see a whole lot, but a little bit of snow flurry activity. And as that wave kind of dives down toward the south and east here over the next 24 hours, we'll see maybe a couple of flurries out of it. As we check out TrueCast here, 8:30 tomorrow morning, still going to have a lot of cloud cover around. And I think as we go through the day tomorrow, we'll see some breaks of sunshine, but more clouds than anything else. As we get into the evening hours, TrueCast finally starting to kind of clear skies out just a little bit for us. But temperatures tomorrow, again, I think many spots in the 30s throughout the day. After starting off in the 20s, we'll get to 36 at noon. Close to 40 for that afternoon high, so we're really not too far off from the average for this time of year. You'll make it to around 40 in Lafayette, 41 in Bloomington. Indy, though, at 39, 38 for you Monday afternoon in Muncie. After that, though, the temperatures are really going to start to warm up pretty quickly here. By the time we get toward the middle of the week on Wednesday, we've got highs around 50, and we got to carry that right through the end of the upcoming week. So the next chance for some rain, and we still haven't had any rain or snow here in the month of December, But we got to go all the way toward the end of the week and next weekend where we'll see some rain moving in. Right now, it looks like Saturday should be a fairly soggy day, primarily rain. If we see any snow on the backside of this system, it's not going to amount to much of anything. Most of that will stay off to the north. Check the 7-day planning forecast for you. There are those temperatures climbing through the week. We've got highs around 53 on Thursday, 54 Friday. And then with the wet weather, it does bring in some colder air. By next weekend, we've got highs in the upper 30s once again. Stay with us. Brad Brown is coming up next. He'll have highlights of today's Colts game as they come away from Houston with the win. You're watching WRTV News at 6.
The first half between the Colts and Texans featured multiple servings of offense. Colts got the first score of the game, T.Y. Hilton finding the end zone for the second straight Sunday. He had 100 receiving yards in the first half. Houston came back with the next 10 points. Colts would retake the lead after that. Nyheim Hines gets into the end zone in the final minute of the opening quarter, his third touchdown of the season. Later, Phillip Rivers with the short pass to Jonathan Taylor. He had only one touch in the game prior to this, but would go untouched to the end zone to give the Colts a 21-10 lead. The teams combined for 502 yards of offense in the first half. Indy was up 24-20 at the break.
We got a lot of guys in our running back room that can make plays, whether it's through the air or on the ground and pass protection. It doesn't matter. So my biggest thing was whenever my number was called, I had to make sure that I was executing because I know the team is counting on me and I know the other guys in the running back room are counting on me.
Defenses dominated after that. The Colts got the game's first takeaway late in the third quarter. Kenny Moore simply taking the ball away from Brandon Cooks. A scoreless third quarter left the Colts leading by 4 to start the fourth. Taking a big chance to make it a 2-score game. 4th down and 1, Taylor gets stuffed in the middle of the line. Colts pass up some sure points, but leave the Texans buried deep.
A lot of confidence in that call, the situation. We had momentum. We had a good drive going. My gut feeling and our confidence in our offense to pick up the play. There was multiple options on the play.
Just a few plays later, Justin Houston comes up big for the D, takes down Deshaun Watson for the safety, extending Indy's lead to 6. But the Colts defense would have to get it done one more time. They get some help with a bad snap to Watson under 90 seconds to go. Grover Stewart dives in, keeps the ball loose. Anthony Walker recovers, and that seals the win. Hold your breath all the way to the end. The Colts escape with a 26-20 victory after a most improbable shutout in the second half.
You got to believe me. You got to play to 0-0 on the clock. You never know what can happen. I've been around this game so long. I saw so many plays that happened at the last second, so many crazy plays. So you always got to believe and you always got to continue to play to 0-0 on the clock.
The only thing we had in our mind was we got to stop them. We can't let them score. It's too late in the game. And we got to show them like why we one of the top defense.
Great play by our defense, being strong, hanging in there. They're moving the ball. Deshaun's a great quarterback. Fought hard all game. Their team fought hard all game, but we knew that we had enough to make a game-winning stand, and we were able to come up with that.
Obviously, the defense came up with a big turnover, a big safety. Obviously, the big turnover at the end to win the game. So, special teams had some huge plays come over and get called back. But, I don't know. I mean, I think we found out we can win anyway. I mean, we can win anyway. We found plenty of ways to win. We're going to hang in there and stick together no matter what.
The Colts got some help from Cleveland on Sunday. The Browns taking down the Titans in a big way. So the Colts and Tennessee are now tied for the AFC South lead. Titans hold a tiebreaker at the moment, but both teams have 8 wins with 4 games remaining. The Colts play in Las Vegas against the Raiders next Sunday. Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
Tonight, dozens of struggling local families are getting help for the holidays. Today, Jewish Family Services held its Adopt a Family event as part of the annual Community Day. Usually, members join teams and shop around town for families on their list, but due to the pandemic, most of the purchases were made online. And today, those purchases were brought to the Jewish Federation campus. From there, the items will be distributed to the families.
We run through Jewish Family Service, we run a food pantry that's open to the entire community year-round that has food and household supplies. But specifically during this time of year, during Hanukkah, we found that there were many Jewish families in need, and there was no service that was able to help them because the other programs were geared towards Christmas. So that's how Adopt a Family began as an effort in the Jewish community.
The Adopt a Family program has been around for 15 years. Donors supply everything from household items to clothing to toys. They helped more than 65 households this year. Kyle.
Yeah, those temperatures tomorrow still going to be on the cool side. Nicole, will top out upper 30s, but we hit 50 by Wednesday.
All right, Kyle, thank you. And thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you right back here tonight at 11. Have a great night.